devil will mark on your heart. Don't all y'all speak at the same time. So I know the Lord was speaking to you, hopefully, about something in 1 Samuel chapter 20. I think in chapter 20, someone was doing some scheming. Who was doing some scheming? Somebody was.
19.
In 20.
We did 19. We started on 20.
Oh, we did.
So which chapter are we on?
We're on 21.
We're on 21? Okay. Let's see. Look at your subtopics, and that'll give you a clue. Look at your subtopic. Jonathan helped David. Saul tries to kill David. Give you a clue now on who was scheming. And you know who was scheming. Saul, in this case, was the one that's scheming. Now, today we're going to read about David and what happened to him. Okay, Saul was trying to kill David. And you know, did we ever even establish a reason? Well, did he have a probable cause?
We didn't have a problem.
Yeah, did he have a reason? Did he have, you know, it's bad when people scheming to kill you and what have you, don't know nothing about it. I had a man last year we were having vacation Bible school. Next thing I knew, he was walking up and down the hall talking about what all he wanted to do to Sheila. And I'm thinking we were cool. I never even argued with the person. He never argued with me. And he had just picked up somebody else's mantle and someone else's cause and ready to kill me. And I said, oh my God, you could be coming over here and you don't know nothing about nothing.
That's right.
And that was the weirdest thing. And the sad thing about it, people heard him say it. And he said, oh, I never did. Never did. I said, yes, they did. They heard you. But I don't know what that is. And you know it has to be an evil spirit.
Yeah.
And that's what had happened to Saul. Saul, you know, it was pointed out last week, and many of you know the story of Saul and David, of how Saul just went after David. And you know, do you remember why how David even became a part of his life? Anybody remember what happened of how he became even a part of his life?
Yeah, because Saul had no spirits and he wanted somebody to soothe him.
That's
they went out and got a musician.
Yes.
They were recommended for it.
Yes. One of Saul's servants says, you know, that's an evil spirit that's taunting you. You know, you just need somebody to play some praise music. And you know, and that's what we have to remember. I buried a sister-in-law out here, and you couldn't say nothing to her about God. She already knew everything and didn't want to hear it. Oh, I know that already. I know that already. And she was just so short about it. One was dying from cancer, down to skin and bone. And then I had to listen to her all the way to the cancer treatment and back. And you know, if I mentioned God, I know, and I'm like saying, geez, Lord, deliver me. And so all I could do was just pray for her, because the spirits wouldn't let her listen to anything. So when you have these spirits that are hitting you like that, and Saul was troubled from the onset before David showed up. And that's one point we want to remember. Because when we were in evangelism school years back, one of the courses we had to take was Hurting People Hurt People. Is How to Help Hurting People was the name of the book. And an entire chapter was on hurting people hurt people. And it said we have to be very careful when we're going through stuff, because many times when you're hurting and in pain, you hurt other people. And this is not necessarily physical hurt. Many times it could be mental health and mental hurt. But Saul was in trouble before. What troubled him, I wonder?
Well, you know, if you look at the 18th chapter and
Okay.
12th verse, that's just a little bit of it,
Okay.
but it's very important. I need somebody to read it in my eyesight. I saw this
Saul was afraid of David because the Lord was with him and he was departed from Saul.
but had departed from Saul.
Mm-hmm.
So Saul was mad because the Lord was with David, but had departed from Saul.
Yes.
So that right there is one of his angers. He had evil spirit.
Amen. Amen. Amen.
Then they started singing about David had his style. I mean, Saul had his style. David had his 10,000.
10,000.
And that even angered him even more.
Yeah.
So 9,000 and he's the king.
Yes, yes, and he's the
He's
king.
angry.
And he's the king.
Well, you go even further back. You go back to 16.
Okay,
Okay, 15.
Chapter 13 and 14.
okay.
Then Samuel took the horn of oil and anointed him in the midst of the brothers.
Which one is that you're reading? Psalms,
First Samuel 16.
1 Samuel 16.
Yeah, 13 was so about
Oh, yeah.
what Samuel anointed David.
Mm-hmm.
Now, in the midst of his brother, and the Spirit of the Lord came upon David from that day forward.
Mm-hmm.
Samuel rose up and went to Ramah. But
Mm-hmm.
the Spirit of the Lord departed from Saul,
Mm-hmm.
and the evil spirit from the Lord troubled him.
In the next verse is the spirit of the party.
And you take it back further now.
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm.
When he disobeyed God,
Mm-hmm.
and then Lord told him, the same from you, he said, this day, God come take your king from you. Then he ripped his skirt off. And he said, this day,
Mm-hmm.
like, your king is gone. So he knew it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And he got there, I guess, I don't know, I can't guess on that part, but he probably had a feeling, I don't know.
And if you think about it, before we gave our life to Christ, we didn't think I didn't think nothing was wrong with me.
That's right.
I didn't think nothing was wrong with
Yes,
me.
Lord.
Evil and didn't even know it because everybody else was around me who was doing the same thing. And that's why you choose friends is doing the same thing. You know, birds of a feather do flock together, and they still flock. You know, I saw a group of birds this morning. They were all little black birds. They were flocking together. And the guy across the street had a bunch of white ones. And he flies them professionally, and they were flocking together too. And they didn't mix with the other group of birds, not because of colors. They just knew each other. And they knew that they had their own pen and their own place where they lived and everything. Now Saul had 3 serious problems as king that he was never supposed to have disobeyed or went against God.
Mm-hmm.
And one of them we know was what? Let me see. We just finished reading. What was Saul doing when he says that to obey is better than a sacrifice? It was in verse 15. Mm-hmm. Anybody?
When you talking about when he was supposed to kill the king?
Wait on Samuel to come to do the
Yeah.
To do the sacrifice.
sacrifice on the 7th day, and
Uh-huh. And he couldn't wait.
Couldn't wait. And he couldn't do it because he wasn't a priest.
That's true. That's true. That was the first one. And he was aware that he was not to perform a sacrifice because he wasn't a priest, and that has always been the history of the people, that it was always supposed to be the priestly tribe to do that. And he was from the tribe of Benjamin. He wasn't even a Levite. So he knew that was way out of order.
Mm-hmm.
And if you stop and think about the first sins in Genesis was doubt. If the enemy can get you to doubt somebody else, well, you know, he's not coming. I doubt if he's coming. He ain't going to show up. He's not going to be here in time. I got other things to do. And let me hurry up. So got him in that way. And then the second one was, later on, he just disobeyed. So doing his own thing. So those are the 2 things.
When they told him to go and kill all of that, Amalek.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Don't do everything, and he didn't do it.
Mm-hmm. He didn't kill a very important person.
He made excuses. He didn't kill a king
Mm-hmm.
either. When Samuel questioned about it, he made excuses.
Yeah. 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 And you have to be careful. Uh-huh. Yeah, we do that.
Well, first he made it like he did something for God.
Yeah.
That's the first lie.
Yeah, that's first light, lying down
I
God.
did something for God.
Mm-hmm.
And I started killing all of them, the good ones. We brought all the good ones back to the sacrifice of God.
Mm-hmm. And when he looked at that old king, was it Agag or Agag? Agag, G-A-G, Agag. He looked at that king and said, you know, I can make a lot of money off him. You know, we can use him as a bargaining something or whatever, make some money. Let me see. Now, there was another problem that he had.
Mm-hmm.
What was the other problem? He had 3 problems.
Disobedience.
Disobedience.
Pride.
Okay. He took a foolish oath in chapter 14. In chapter 14. Remember what that oath was all about? Give you a chance to read up on it and find it.
Okay. They, wait a minute, then they told Saul, then behold, the people sinned against the Lord, and that they eat blood.
Which verse are you reading? In chapter 14?
Yeah, 33.
33? Okay. Okay.
Yeah, because it was against the Levitical law that they weren't supposed to eat meat with blood. Still, yeah.
Mm-hmm. We don't eat meat.
They did that without Saul.
Mm-hmm. So Saul with him.
You weren't with them when they did that.
Okay. Let's find his oath.
Verses 24 to 30.
33, it tells you.
The Philistines will take him. But we know that in Leviticus it did say never to eat any meat that's rare with the blood in it. Everybody remember why? It was stated in Leviticus, and I know again in Numbers, I believe, because we studied, the morning group studied that.
Samuel 1.
Saul was not
So,
with them.
14:24.
Now the Israelites were in
We're gonna read
distress
14:24. Go ahead.
Now the Israelites were in distress that day because Saul had bound up the people under an oath saying, "Cursed be anyone who eats food before evening comes, before I have avenged myself on my enemies, so none of the troops tasted food." Is that the one you're talking?
That was a foolish one. That was foolish enough right there. Saul made an oath without thinking through the implication. And the result, his men were too tired to what? To fight. They couldn't go out to fight. They were so hungry that they ate meat that still what? Contained the blood. And so that's definitely a problem. Was he the one who, because it's been a while with me reading Samuel, was he the king who said something silly about his daughter? That wasn't the one, and the daughter stepped out and died, or he cursed the daughter. No, okay, good. And let me get that way then. So that was the third one then. So you can see how Saul's progression of not following proper protocol, and we're not talking about protocol in the law, not following what God's word said, and not obeying God, which caused chapter 16, verse 14 to come into effect. The spirit in 1 Samuel 16:14, where the spirit of the Lord departed from Saul, and an evil spirit from the Lord troubled him. Now, both spirits came from who? The Lord. On this table, God said, I set blessings and curses. Every single day, he sets the same blessings for us because it's your free will. And if your free will, like we established this morning in our class about free will, that you have free will, God will permit whatever to happen. But Saul could have stopped this at any point if he wanted to. But remember, Saul was a king after whose own heart? The people. The people wanted him. He was not God's choice. But God gave the people who they wanted. And when they got him, they were so happy because he was a big, tall man. And Saul started out with a little sense. He just ended up doing his own thing. It's just like any preacher, any priest, any father even. You get married, you have great vows, you take these vows, you honor them, and you get married within God we trust, by the powers invested in us as a minister of Jesus Christ and marry people. Then all of a sudden you break your vows and you expect God to bless that. You know, that's the challenge that we have to take. Sis.
Did you know that to marry somebody here in Las Vegas, you don't have to be a minister?
Mm-hmm.
Really? Yeah, that's just like a regular job.
You can be a
Hired by the
judge.
county, and they train you, and you marry people,
Yeah, yeah,
and you're not a licensed minister.
yeah. We received a letter a couple years ago.
It's something new.
No, it's not.
A judge can marry you.
Right.
Person of the court,
Somebody in the court.
probably anyone who has been appointed.
I
Yeah,
know they
an
were pushing
official.
back with the gay marriages,
Yes.
and they're trying to push it, but I didn't know it was.
Regular marriage.
Yeah, you definitely don't have to be a minister
They're not
to
licensed
officiate.
ministers. They're not licensed that married. I had a girl who used to work with me,
Mhm.
and she got a job through the county, and that's what she did.
Wow.
That was
Wow.
what she did.
So is it
Yeah.
recognized in other states?
Well, they have to be licensed.
You have to be
They're
licensed.
But they have to be a licensed member.
You have to be
Yeah,
licensed.
they don't have to be a
Yeah,
licensed minister.
but they be licensed to do that, yeah.
I don't know about that either.
When I got
I don't know.
When I got my license,
I mean, the person who signs it is just like, okay, you're a minister, and you're a minister also, but she's been ordained and you haven't been
Right.
ordained.
Mhm.
See what I'm saying? Her signature, even though you would marry that person, but her
But it would
signature
require my
will go
signature.
on it as
On-
the ordained minister
on the marriage license,
on that license.
when you're getting ready to fill out your forms to officiate, I could see how it could be anyone who would go through that process. You would have to have a notary, someone to notarize you are who you are. You would have to have someone who speaks on your behalf, that you're a reliable person. They have a form that they fill out. 2 or 3 different people have to fill out a form on you stating about your character, and then you fill out a form. Then you send it in, and they either reject it or accept it. We were told a couple years back, they sent us a letter from the Marriage Bureau here in Las Vegas stating for all of us to come to a meeting that they had. You know, we had marked it down on our calendar. I had, Sister Colbert had at that time, and so had Pastor Cooper. We'd all marked it down to attend that meeting, and all of us forgot. And we were looking forward to that meeting the week before, and all of us forgot. They sent us a letter stating what we had missed, meaning if we violate what their law is, and it hadn't even passed yet about lesbian or homosexual marriages, says if any of us deny officiating over one of their weddings, that it could cost us our license. That's exactly what they said, and it hadn't even passed. And I just thought about it. I said, boy, the audacity of people. The audacity, you know, it's scary.
It says here, all ministers, religious officials, and notary publics who wish to perform marriage ceremonies in Nevada must obtain a certificate of authority to solemnize marriages from the county.
Right.
And now, when you think about that notary public, I know notary, Ms. Haywood is a notary here at our church. Most banks will have at least 1 or 2 notaries in the banks.
What's this religious official? What's a religious official?
I
Okay.
had to have something notarized last year, and
Mm-hmm.
I went to my Bank of America,
Yeah.
Flamingo,
Yeah.
and they said, with my husband's death and everything, I'm trying to get some important papers, you know.
Mm-hmm.
They said, no, we can't, if it was something concerning Bank of America,
Mm-hmm.
we will, but you have to go to another notary, which I
Wow.
did.
Mm-hmm.
But this is the one on Flamingo,
At a different bank.
because I went to the manager. And I've been
Mhm.
banking with them, my church and everything since, what, 70s,
Wow.
late 70s, early in California.
Mm-hmm.
So it's been transferred from state, you know, and
With the
everything.
same bank.
But our headquarters is still in California.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, let me speak to your manager. Manager
Mhm.
came out with the same statement. I said, I need to have some papers notarized because my husband's passing, and I'm the CEO of the corporation, and I have to have some paperwork notarized. So I didn't want to go pay anybody else.
Right.
I said, B of A all this time? She said, no, if it's concerning B of A, then we will. Well, it wasn't concerning B of A.
Wow. That's
It's concerning the
unusual.
corporation and whatever.
Isn't
And
it?
they did.
It's funny.
I'm a notary.
They are funny like that because I know
Yeah.
Wells Fargo does it.
A lot of.
So-
Bank of America is just kind of different.
Hey,
They-
Look,
They do something else.
Yeah.
But you know what? I want to change from them and check into a couple more. They was good. just as bad.
Wow. Wow.
Depending on what you want done,
Yeah.
whatever it is.
Yeah.
I'm telling you.
Yeah. And
And all
people are
these
getting
years,
more and more selfish
But there's
and
no
doing
judgment.
whatever.
I went through